Oh man, you guys, let me tell you about this wild ride I went through last year. It started with a thunderstorm that knocked out power at the big old Langford Manor up in Willow Creek, where I was just the housekeeper, folding towels and keeping my head down after losing my own kid to a heart thing years back. Little Jake Reynolds, this tiny 8-year-old with those big curious eyes, he was the boss's son, and I found him collapsed by his bed, lips turning blue, clutching his chest like he was fighting for every breath. My heart just stopped. You know? No phones working, staff shrugging it off like, not my job, and Victor Langford's girlfriend Brooke sneering from afar, treating the kid like an annoying pet she never wanted. So I panicked, grabbed a knife to jimmy the lock on Victor's study, snatched some emergency cash and his Porsche keys, bundled Jake up, and floored it to St. Mary's ER through the pouring rain. By the time we got there, docs were swarming, hooking him up to machines, saying it was some rare arrhythmia. If I'd waited 5 more minutes, he'd be gone. But then bam, cops slapped cuffs on me right in the waiting room, charging grand theft, breaking in, even endangering the kid I just saved. Victor storms in, all tall and furious in his designer coat, barking, "You broke into my house, stole my money, how dare you?" And I'm there soaked and shaking, yelling back, "Your son was dying, and your precious staff wouldn't lift a finger." Brooke didn't even notice he was sick. But Brooke leans in with that venomous smile, whispering to him, "She's obsessed. Victor probably staged the whole thing for a payout. You know how these types are." And he buys it, nods to the cops, press charges, while the nurse pleads, "She saved him, sir's asking for her." It crushed me, sitting in that patrol car, rain streaking the windows, thinking about my boy Tyler who I couldn't save, and now this thrown away like trash because I cared too much in a house full of indifference, all rooted in Victor's fear of looking weak to his board, and Brooke's jealousy over anyone getting close to her life. Detention was hell, cold bench and flickering lights, but this grizzled detective, Mike Harlan, shows up, eyes tired but kind, saying, "Tell me your side." And I spill it all: the neglect, how Brooke treated Jake like a burden because he cramped her socialite vibe, staff ordered to ignore him unless paid extra, my own grief pushing me to act. He nods, "I'll check the medical logs." And suddenly there's a crack hospital confirms I saved the kid, security footage mysteriously deleted, probably Brooke covering her ass. My lawyer, Lena Croft, this sharp woman in her 50s, fights tooth and nail in court. Bail drops thanks to old co-workers chipping in, and I get out. But the media is exploding, painting me as the rogue maid versus the billionaire dad. Then Jake sneaks a call from his hospital bed, whispering, "Sarah, you held May miss you." And it breaks me open, gives me fire. Court day hits like a storm. Prosecutor sneers, "You endangered a child for your own gain." But Lena fires back with witnesses. The nurse Valerie recounting how I cradled Jake like my own, old housekeeper Rita exposing the household's cold rules, Detective Harlan dropping bombs about tampered evidence. I take the stand, voice steady but cracking. I lost my son waiting for help that never came. It wasn't letting it happen again. Not to Jake. Not when no one else moved. Judge pauses. Then boom, charges dismissed. Not guilty. The room erupts, and Victor's face in the back row crumbles, like he's seeing his failures for the first time. He pulls me aside later, alone in a dingy cafe, eyes down. I was blind, protected my ego, let Brooke poison it all because she hated sharing the spotlight. But you saw my boy when I didn't. He drops the charges, ends it with her. Turns out she was manipulating staff to isolate Jake. Jealous of any bond, stealing her control, and offers me a real role, not as help, but family advisor for Jake's care, on my terms. From there, it snowballed. It couldn't stop at one kid. So with Lena and Rita, we started the Heartbeat Haven Foundation, training caregivers on spotting heart issues, funding screenings for low-income families, building networks so no one's alone like I was. We piloted workshops, got grants, even state pilots, reducing ER visits by double digits. Funny how my crime sparked this ripple, turning grief into action. But man, Victor stepped up too, funding it quietly, rebuilding trust with Jake, who now draws us as superheroes. Yet here's the twist that still bugs me. Was I right to break laws for a life, or does power always bend rules differently? If it had been Victor racing to save someone, would he face cuffs? Makes you think about who gets called hero versus criminal in in this messed up world. What about you? Drop a comment. Have you ever crossed a line to help someone or seen neglect get swept under money's rug? Share your take. Hit like if you're team underdog and subscribe for more real-life twists that hit home. Thanks for listening. Folks, stay kind out there.